first thing I'd like to point out here is I have what's called a loyalty ladder, and there's basically 5 rungs on a loyalty ladder. And everybody in society falls on one of the 5 rungs. And at the very bottom of the ladder, we have a suspect. That's somebody we don't know if they have a need or a want. We don't know if they have the money to act. We don't know if they match our profile, and we don't know if they're willing to meet with us. And as we move up the ladder from the bottom to the top, we have a prospect. And this is somebody who could be dealing with us, but they're dealing with somebody else, but they meet our profile and so on. The next letter, I have a customer. And with a customer right here, what happens is a customer is somebody who's dealing with you, but they're also dealing with another financial advisor, and they're practicing the golden rule of diversification that we taught them, which is to not put all your eggs in one basket. And so they're dealing with 2 or 3 advisors. And it's, you know what, I absolutely did tell you, never ever put all your eggs in one basket, but it's okay if you put all of your baskets at the same farm. So bring everything over here. And that's what I call a client. And a client is somebody who deals exclusively with me, somebody who deals exclusively with you, or as a very minimum, you have lead provider status, lead provider status. And at the very top is an advocate. An advocate's not only somebody who's dealing exclusively with you, but they're also out there waving your flag and becoming your sales force. And what happens every day when you go into work, basically what you have to do is you have to graduate people from level to level. That's what your job is. Your job is to graduate your suspects to become prospects. Your prospects become customers. Your customers become clients, and your clients become advocates. And for anybody who's been in this business for any period of time, which is probably most of us, I think by far your best opportunity is to graduate your customers to become clients and squeeze as much juice as you possibly can out of the orange. Would you rather have 25% of the assets, 25% of the insurance sales, 25% of the revenue of 1,000 people, or 50% of the assets, revenue, insurance sales of 500 people, or 100% of the assets, revenue, insurance sales out of 250 people? And ultimately, your clients are going to come to you one day looking for complete advice, and you're not going to have all the information. So it works better for you to have your customers become clients and advocates. But it works out better for your clients also, because you're going to be able to manage the whole picture, and there's lots of pieces and lots of parts to the puzzle. Now, you only ultimately have so much time, and I understand that we do all kinds of things. We do financial planning, we do insurance, we do compliance, we do all kinds of things. Pictures. But basically, what happens is that, let's just say that you work a 2,000 hour a year. If you work a 2,000 hour a year, and I was to take that whole year, and I was to break that 2,000 hours down, the first thing is I got 20% here, or 200 hours, which is the time that you waste. And that's just the cost of doing business. I'm not saying it's right, I'm not saying it's wrong, I'm just saying it is what it is. And if you don't believe you waste any time, just go and check your internet history and the history on your phone, and you'll find out that you do in fact waste 10% of your time. Next thing is, I think that you, out of that 2,000 hours, spend about 600 hours running your business. It's coming to days like today, it's doing all of your compliance, it's doing things like that. And those are things that are very, very important. You have to do them. But the point I really, really want to emphasize for every person here is that you do not get paid for running your business. You ultimately only get paid for doing 2 things, which is over here. And I'm going to put down, you have 800 hours here and you have 400 hours here. I'm just going to use this as an example. You get paid to do 2 things, which is to attract clients and to retain clients, to attract clients and retain clients. And if you take your income for the year and you divide it by 2,000 hours, you're going to get a dollar figure on what you're worth. But you don't get paid for 2,000 hours. If you take your income and you divide it by 1,200 hours, which is all you get paid for, your hourly rate is going to almost double on you. And if you think of yourself as about double your hourly rate, you might behave more effectively when you go to work in the morning. Let's take an advisor that comes brand new in the business. They're over here, they have absolutely no clients. They can spend all 1,200 hours attracting clients and attracting clients. But the minute they take on one client, there starts to be some service. And now we have somebody over here at the end of their career. And this person over here might spend all 1,200 hours just retaining their clients. Just retaining their clients. And what happens, let's take somebody like myself or many people in the room, you're right here in the middle. You only have 1,200 hours to attract and retain clients. And in this example, I'm going to say you spend 400 hours on attracting clients, prospecting, doing all those things. Well, that leaves you only 800 hours to squeeze as much juice as you possibly can out of your gold mine, which is your existing clients. And if you take the number of clients that you have and you divide it by 800 hours, you're going to realize that you have very little time for each and every client. And so what you need to ultimately do, everybody needs our attention and deserves our attention, but we have to make sure that we properly allocate our time with the people who ultimately generate the revenue for us. If I was to give you, you have within your client base, you have small clients, you have medium clients, and you have large clients. And if I take your clients and I ask, well, what happens if I look at my business, if I look at my actual business, if I look at my business, my top 20% of my clients equals 67% of my revenue. If I look at my middle percent of my clients, this generates 28% of my revenue, the middle third of my clients. And the bottom part of my clients generates about 14% of my revenue. And if I went to an expert on time management, they might tell me to get rid of my bottom clients and get rid of my middle clients and spend all my time on my top clients. And I'll tell you why I think that's a bad idea for a lot of people. Let's pretend that this is your business right now. This is your business in the year 2017. And you got all these top clients right here. And then we have all these middle clients right here. And this is what your current business looks like. And then over here at the bottom, we have all your bottom clients. How many people's very best client was the best client the day you got them? Probably not very many. So now here's what your business looks like right now. If you get rid of all your middle and all your bottom clients, what's your business going to look like 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now? I'll tell you what it's going to look like. Your top clients, you're going to have maybe 4 top clients here. One of the clients, because you grew and they got smaller, is going to become a middle client. And one of your clients is going to be over here because they died or they left or they went to another advisor. If I take your bottom clients, you're still going to have a few bottom clients here. But one of them is going to become a middle client. One of them is going to become a top client. And one of them is going to left. And then if I take your middle clients here, a few of them will still be middle clients. One will become a top client. One will become a bottom client. And one of them will have left. But look at how the dynamics of your business changes over your career. And the people who've been in the business 20, 30, 40 years, 50 years know that this is true. So make sure that you treat everybody with respect, but at the end of the day, you do need to spend. If I went to my daughter who's 15 years old and asked her how much time I should spend with these people that generates 67% of my revenue, my 15-year-old daughter is going to tell me I should spend 67% of my time, or at least a lot of my time with these people. So that's something I think is a very, very important point. Now, if you turn around and you look at the number of clients you have and you divide it by your 1,200 hours or your 800 hours or whatever your number is, you're going to find out just how valuable your time, in fact, is.